Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be doing the movie for what if Naruto had every kekkei genkai. Now just as a reminder, this is a competition with Harry Fox, so please make sure to check his channel out as well. He's going to be doing what if Naruto had a reality kekkei genkai. Also please make sure to like and subscribe because I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. So this what if starts with a dark and terrible night, when the Ninetales was attacking the Hidden Leaf Village. Kushina ended up giving birth to a young boy called Naruto. But suddenly, a masked man that we know to be Obito showed up, kidnapping the baby Naruto and trying to kill Minato. And as we all know, Minato just dealt with Obito by slamming a Rasengan into his back, and then he turned his attention back to trying to deal with the Ninetales. Little did he know, Obito wasn't the only enemy that had arrived, because from behind the trees, Orochimaru came out quickly and ran at Naruto and took him. And he was just like, yes, this boy will be perfect for my experiments. Finally, I can create the perfect life form, a being with every possible attribute you could want. And so Orochimaru quickly ran back into hiding as he pulled out 3 syringes from his back. He muttered, "Let's start with the best one," as he grinned. Minato almost immediately realized what was happening as he threw one of his flying Rasen kunai to the location and dashed straight at Orochimaru. But by then, it was too late. Orochimaru was already injecting the weird fluid in the first syringe into Naruto's body. Minato slammed a Rasengan into Orochimaru as he had to reverse summon himself out of there, because Orochimaru was basically gonna die if he didn't. And after that, Naruto just fell to the ground and started emitting a bright light, like an explosion of power was released from him, and then he just passed out, which did catch Minato and Kushina off guard because they didn't understand what just happened to Naruto, what that bright light coming off of him was, but Minato had more important things to deal with as he kept fighting the Ninetales and ended up getting pierced through the stomach in an effort to save Naruto. And, well, so did Kushina, just like in the original. In his last moments alive, Minato decided to use the Reaper Death Seal to seal the entirety of the Ninetales within Naruto, since he believed that Naruto was powerful enough to withstand the full strength of the Ninetales, because, I'm not gonna make this like canon. Naruto actually has the full Ninetales. And after that, Hiruzen finally arrived with his Anbu and the Amber Purification Jar, but quickly after arriving, he noticed that the Ninetales had already been sealed within Naruto. He listened to Kushina as she said her final words, telling Hiruzen to take care of Naruto, and no matter what, just take care of Naruto, mentioning how Naruto has amazing potential and can become a very powerful shinobi one day. And unlike in the original, Hiruzen, hearing this, decides to treat Naruto just a bit better than in canon due to what Kushina said. And I know she said this in the original as well, but I don't know. I want to have Hiruzen treat him just a little bit better than in canon in this what if. So this is when we have a 3-year time skip to Naruto's 3rd birthday. So it was Naruto's 3rd birthday, and although Hiruzen had left to do his Hokage work, he had left a note and some cake for Naruto, congratulating him on his 3rd birthday. Naruto smiled a bright smile as he ate the cake and went outside. Although all of Naruto's friends had just recently learned to walk and talk properly, the basic stuff, Naruto was always different. He had learned everything way earlier than all of his friends. At the shockingly low age of 3, he had already started learning how to fight. He was a prodigy among prodigies, to say the least. Naruto looked down at a cylindrical-shaped box that was wrapped neatly, like a present. On it was a note that read, "A special present for your birthday, by Hiruzen." Naruto hastily opened the box, as from inside it emerged a scroll. On top of the scroll there was a text saying, "All the basics to becoming a shinobi." And Naruto beamed and opened the scroll. He immediately started studying its contents. This scroll taught him everything he needed to know. Basic jutsu, chakra natures, basic taijutsu, and most importantly, for our case, kekkei genkai. This thing about kekkei genkai interested Naruto, but he realized that, even if he did had a kekkei genkai, he had to master all the previous steps to be able to even think about using one of those. Like, if he doesn't know how to use jutsu or chakra at all, he can't use the kekkei genkai. With that, Naruto continued training with and without Hiruzen all the way until he was 5. And Hiruzen decided to give him his own house so that he could live on his own. Unfortunately for Naruto, the timing for this could not have been any worse, since this was also right around the time when Danzo ended up telling everybody that Naruto was the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Suddenly, Naruto's life began to crumble before his eyes, as all of the people who used to care about him and were kind to him started to become distant and stopped talking to Naruto. Slowly, the amount of money that Hiruzen started giving him also started to decrease, as Naruto was getting less and less food and less attention. And, he was thinking, and one day, an idea hit him. If he became strong enough and became the Hokage, everyone would finally respect him. Everyone would recognize Naruto as a great person. From that day on, Naruto started training day and night, using the scroll that Hiruzen gave him and trying to master every single thing. He would go to the library and look at every scroll he could find and study them. This is how it goes all the way until Naruto's first day at the academy. So this is probably what age do they go to the academy at? 8? I think it's 8. So that's 3 years of training that Naruto does, plus the additional stuff that he did earlier with Hiruzen. So Naruto's already pretty broken. He's definitely above average academy student, or probably Genin level. Now, on his first day to the academy, Naruto was pretty early and was one of the first people to walk into the room. Eventually, everybody started piling into the room, slowly going into all of the chairs. As you might have guessed, there was a certain radius of empty seats surrounding Naruto, because, nobody wanted to sit next to him. Iruka decided that he wanted to do a special sort of exam today to see what level everyone was at. Naruto did very well in the written portion, and also did really well in most of the things like kunai and shuriken throwing. After all that, it was finally time for the sparring. Of course, as you may have guessed, Naruto and Sasuke were facing off against each other, because, plot. And I am the narrator here, so deal with it. Naruto and Sasuke both, just stepped into the circle, as they were both trying to prove something. They wanted to prove they were stronger than each other. And, Naruto wanted to gain the respect of others, and Sasuke was to prove to himself that he could be strong enough to be Itachi and was the strongest. They both immediately started rushing. They just both rushed at each other, displaying incredible taijutsu skills for their ages at least, as they both exchanged blows. The battle was extremely close, although Naruto was able to land a strong blow to Sasuke's chest, as he sent him flying almost out of the circle, but not quite enough. Sasuke, who at this point was fed up, he just got up and stared at Naruto, and then he started weaving hand signs as he said, "Fireball Jutsu!" Naruto was able to block a bit of it as he tried to dodge out of the way, but only managed to slightly escape the fireball, as he still got hit pretty heavily and fell to the floor. Sasuke could see the burn marks on Naruto and could see he was in pain, but he wasn't gonna show any mercy as he ran in at Naruto and started kicking him and pounding him into the ground until he was either knocked out or surrendered. Naruto was just on the floor. Naruto was just laying down on the floor, being pounded into the ground, when he suddenly started to feel a huge rush of adrenaline, and suddenly something changed in him, and he shot up off the ground at blinding speeds as he kicked Sasuke straight into the ground. Naruto then immediately just pinned him down and just held Sasuke down until he admitted defeat. Like, in that moment, Naruto just, for an instant, just went to a completely different level. It was weird. As Naruto started walking away, Sasuke could have sworn he saw Naruto's eyes go red for a second before they turned back to their original bright blue hue. It almost looked like the Sharingan. Naruto also took note of this strange feeling. What was that crazy power that he just got? He needed to find out, because if he could, this could be a game changer for him. This could drastically increase his power. So when Naruto went home, the first thing he did was to try and reawaken this power. As after a lot of failed attempts and concentration, he was able to do it. As he looked at his mirror, he could see the red eye with the one black tomoe. Since Naruto is smart, he was able to recognize this to be the Sharingan, the kekkei genkai of the Uchiha clan. Naruto honed down his abilities with this new kekkei genkai, and this discovery led him to question something else. How did he have this kekkei genkai? How did he get this in the first place? This is supposed to be the Uchiha clan one. And also, if he had this kekkei genkai, did he have any other kekkei genkai? The simple answer was yes, because as the viewers of this, we already know he actually has every kekkei genkai. But for Naruto to figure this out, he would need more and more training to unlock those kekkei genkai. So, that's exactly what he did. Literally, that's exactly what he did. So, for the rest of his entire time in the academy, he literally kept destroying everyone else in his class because he's just on another tier. Nobody else is on his level. And he also kept training his kekkei genkais, or whatever the plural of kekkei genkai is. I don't know. Is it kekkei genkais or kekkei genkai? Doesn't matter. So, he kept doing that all throughout his free time. All the time he had, he would train and train and train. One by one, he kept unlocking more and more of his kekkei genkai as he trained them to their absolute limit to try and become as powerful as he possibly can. So basically, he would take every kekkei genkai he has, right? Let's say, some sort of release, or some sort of, let's say his Sharingan, right? He takes his Sharingan and he trains his Sharingan to the absolute limit. As far as the Sharingan can go, he pushes it to that limit, which basically made him almost unlock his 2 Tomoe Sharingan. But I'm not going to give him a 2 Tomoe just yet, because I don't want him to be too powerful. But he might not be very powerful yet, but trust me, if you watch till the end of this what if, he is going to be broken, on a completely other level. Anyways, this kept going on all the way until the graduation exam, where Naruto passed with ease, like it's not even close. Naruto also managed to get the title of Rookie of the Year, which was, that's pretty self-explanatory. Of course he would get Rookie of the Year. And he was told that Kakashi would be his Jonin sensei. Now, he also learned that he would have a team with Sakura and Sasuke, and I guess Naruto was generally happy about this as he sat down and started waiting for Kakashi to arrive. Although it took him a long time, Kakashi did end up arriving and giving his usual excuse on how he got lost down the path of life or whatever, and told Team 7 to meet him up on the roof. So with that, Kakashi swiftly body flickered up to the roof, and with the rest of the team going up there by foot because, most of them can't body flicker. And although Naruto is trying to learn the body flicker, he hasn't quite mastered it yet, so that doesn't count. Now, Sakura, it took the longest to get up there, but, she did come up there pretty decently quickly, I guess. So when everybody did arrive, Kakashi asked them to all share their likes, dislikes, and goals. Sakura started first, doing her usual thing where she stared at Sasuke while saying she likes a certain someone, and then glared at Naruto saying she dislikes a certain someone, and then she swiftly turned her back around to face Kakashi and announced that her goal was that she wanted to be a very good wife to a certain someone, as she, once again slowly started turning her head to stare at Sasuke. Now, Sasuke did his emo thing where he was like, I don't have any particular likes or dislikes, but I am determined to kill a certain somebody that, we know to be Itachi. And Naruto actually was, as you may have guessed, the only person that had quote-unquote normal goals, as he said how, he liked ramen, and his goals were to become the Hokage and to become the strongest ninja in the world. Hearing this, Sakura snorted and thought in her head, that idiot Naruto, what does he think he is? Becoming the strongest in the world? Don't make me laugh, you nine-tailed brat. And Naruto, hearing Sakura laughing, just gave her a death glare that completely froze Sakura. Naruto instantly dashed at Sakura while pulling out a kunai and slicing her throat open. Then she just started blinking rapidly as she just saw Naruto just sitting there, and touched her neck, started touching her neck and to see if her throat was cut, but she couldn't feel the cut, and it just wasn't there, as Naruto calmly replied, just saying, "You're lucky that was just a genjutsu." As Sakura just sighed, what just happened? Did Naruto just kill me? And Kakashi, frantically is trying to change the subject, and he just tells everyone that they should meet him at the training grounds early tomorrow morning. And also that they should not eat anything unless they want to end up throwing up. And after saying that, Kakashi just poofed into a cloud of smoke and disappeared. But that is where I'm going to be having to leave this episode off. So last time we left off, Kakashi just told them about the bell test, and everybody was getting ready to, do the bell test. Well, actually, they didn't know it was the bell test. They were just heading to the training grounds expecting whatever they were expecting. The next day, the team met at the training grounds and started waiting for Kakashi. Although it took a while, Kakashi did finally arrive, and he explained the rules of the bell test, stating that there were 2 bells and they had to go get them. Naruto was taking a moment to think and strategize, as Kakashi just said, "Go, go, go, what are you waiting for?" And Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura all ran into the forest and decided to hide. Naruto, from the bushes, analyzed his opponent and decided that he would have to go full power to defeat him, and that he would only have one chance. So after coming up with a plan, he went up to Sasuke and Sakura and explained to them that they would have to work together to get the bells. Now, as you may have guessed, Sasuke immediately turned down the offer, saying that he had to do it on his own and that he didn't need his help. But, he was doing all this stuff where he's like, I will prove that I am stronger than Itachi by passing this by myself. But this was all part of Naruto's plan. He was expecting this. So Naruto and Sakura both started running at Kakashi from opposite directions as they both came in with a full strength punch, and this caught Kakashi off guard. He's like, good. Seems they're using teamwork. But where's Sasuke? And he was just thinking this as they just both punched at Kakashi, with Kakashi dodging out of the way with almost complete ease. Now, Kakashi is making some distance between them as Naruto immediately goes in with a fireball jutsu. Now, Kakashi creates a mud wall and ends up blocking this jutsu. But in the meantime, Sakura was already coming in from behind Kakashi as Kakashi and Sakura started getting into a battle, but Kakashi easily won, putting Sakura under a genjutsu and making her fall to the ground. Now, the instant this happened, Naruto was already behind Kakashi as well, once again trying to kick him, but Kakashi is just too fast for him as he blocks the blow, and Naruto and Kakashi just start having a heated taijutsu battle, and they're just fighting, exchanging blows as Sakura manages to get back up and finally join the battle as they both go in for one strong move at Kakashi. And Kakashi seeing this is like, dang it, I won't be able to dodge, and this is somehow powerful. I'll have to use my full strength, not full strength, but I'll actually have to concentrate to block this, as he extends both hands and barely manages to stop the blows. As seeing this, Sasuke's like, finally, this is my chance, as he runs out from the bushes, catching Kakashi off guard in this state where he's exposed to any other attacks, as he runs in trying to snatch the bells, but it's too late. Kakashi immediately turns around and chops Sasuke on the back, sending him flying back into the ground. And while Kakashi is doing this, Naruto's like, finally, it's my opportunity, as he activates his Sharingan right on time and says, swift release, swift strike, and he creates this very fast strike, immediately going in and snatching the bells from Kakashi. And he does this so fast that Kakashi doesn't even notice. Now, you guys might be like, swift release? And yes, I am already giving him swift release, which is a pretty cool kekkei genkai, not gonna lie. It's a combined nature transformation kekkei genkai, and it's super OP because it gives your user instantaneous speed, right? And you're gonna be seeing swift release a lot because it is so OP for speed. But yeah. Anyways, after that, Naruto grabs both of the bells and he's like, so, Kakashi, do we pass? And Kakashi looking at Naruto, who literally snatched the bells from Kakashi at such incredible speeds that even he, without his Sharingan, couldn't react to. He's like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess. As Naruto's like, cool, well, I'll see you tomorrow. We're doing missions, right? As he's just casually talking and, goes out and gives the bells back to Kakashi. And he just walks away as Kakashi's staring at Naruto like, who on earth is this kid? How is he so strong? And, after this, Team 7 does become an official team. As, they start doing D-rank missions, doing groceries for for villagers and doing other lame stuff like catching cats. And Naruto, who rightfully gets bored of doing all of this stuff, the next time they meet Hiruzen, demands a higher rank mission. And Hiruzen, not having any other choice but to agree, knowing Naruto's incredible abilities, since Naruto lived with Hiruzen for 1 year longer than in the original, and even though he only lived with Hiruzen until he was 5, by the time he was 5, he was already like Genin level. So Naruto is really strong. And Hiruzen, who knows this, is like, yeah, you guys can have a C rank escort mission. Tomorrow you'll have to meet up at the gate, and that is where you will meet Tazuna and escort him to the land of waves. And this isn't exactly what Naruto was hoping for, but at least they got to leave the village, so he accepted the mission. And so the next day, they all met up at the, gate of the village as they all headed off. Now, along the way, as they were going to the land of waves with Tazuna, they had just met, and Tazuna this time didn't meet them while he was drunk, so there's no stuff that happens there, and they're just walking along, and nobody's talking. It's just they're just walking, and suddenly Naruto walks past a puddle. Now, Naruto, in this what if, being the actually pretty smart person that he is, notices this puddle and kind of just looks at Kakashi, being like, yo, did Kakashi notice this? And Kakashi sees the look that Naruto is giving him, and he just gives that look back, being like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Just gives that reassuring look. And seeing this, Naruto's like, okay, good, just checking, in his head. And so with that, they just keep walking on. But Naruto and Kakashi are now on guard. So when the Demon Brothers do eventually end up popping out, Naruto and Kakashi are ready. As Naruto, the instant he sees this, is Swift Lotus, as he travels towards one of the Demon Brothers at high velocity, god level speed. Not god level, but high speed, and uses that momentum to strike with a kick and sends the target flying into the air. And then Naruto just goes and catches the Demon Brother, basically just pinning him down and being like, okay, well, I caught this one, as he looks back to see Kakashi, who has dealt with the other one, who is definitely impressed at Naruto's swift release abilities. And I know I'm only making him use swift release at the moment, but don't worry, he'll use other things as well. Just trust me, okay? Now, Naruto and Team 7 continue heading on, as they just keep going and going and going, and suddenly a huge amount of mist and fog starts to appear. And Tazuna's just yeah, this is normal. I mean, we're going to the Hidden Mist Village. What do you expect? It's in the name. And, Kakashi and the rest of Team 7 hear this, and they're like, yeah, that makes sense. But at the same time, they're like, this fog, it just seems a little unnatural, don't you think? And they're just thinking this as Kakashi immediately yells, duck! And a huge blade comes swinging above their heads, as it just lodges itself into the tree. And Naruto turns back to look at what that was, as he realizes it was Zabuza. And Naruto knows Zabuza, because remember, this Naruto is a prodigy genius, and he doesn't know a lot of people, but he's good enough to recognize Zabuza. And Zabuza does his whole speech being like, I'm Zabuza Momochi, Demon of the Mist. And Kakashi's like, guys, stay back, I'll handle this. and he just runs in straight at Zabuza, as this goes just like in Ken, with Zabuza and Kakashi having a taijutsu battle, and then Zabuza trapping Kakashi in a water prison. Now Naruto, just watching from the sidelines, is like, wow, Kakashi, people say you've copied like thousands of jutsus, yet you don't have a single jutsu to get yourself out of this predicament. How unfortunate. As, Zabuza's just standing there being like, ha ha ha, look what I've done to your Jonin sensei. As Naruto's like, shut up, you jerk. I don't know, he just says something. He's like, shut up, as suddenly a huge wooden pillar shoots up from underneath Zabuza. And he just hit Zabuza, right, because Zabuza's water walking at the moment, standing on the water, and through the water literally comes a huge wooden pillar and just sends Zabuza flying up into the air. Now Zabuza, who wasn't expecting this, is like, what was that? Was that wood release? As it's like, imagine Zabuza and Kakashi at the same time being like, wood release? This kid has wood release? As Naruto's like, Kakashi, how about you let me deal with it? As he says, swift acceleration 1, and also at the same time activates his Sharingan, which shocks both Kakashi and Sasuke, being like, this guy has a Sharingan. Nah, I'm done. This guy has literally everything. This isn't fair. This is clearly rigged. Which it is. This is rigged because, this is a what if and Naruto's the main character. But Naruto just runs straight in at Zabuza as he lands kick after kick after kick and punching him. It is like not even close, as Zabuza just at this point doesn't know what to do really, because he's just being beat up by a genin. As Naruto's like, idiot. As he's like, storm release, laser beam. As Naruto points out his palm at Zabuza, and a beam shoots out towards Zabuza, basically just creating a hole in Zabuza's around his stomach. And seeing this, is Haku comes in from the trees being like, just immediately picking Zabuza up and being like, I'm a tracking ninja from the Hidden Mist Village. I've come here to retrieve Zabuza. As Naruto and Team 7, buying this whole disguise, is like, oh, okay, well then you can take him. And they don't know that Haku is in fact, not a tracking ninja, but in fact on Zabuza's side. But they don't have too much time to think about that, because right now they're too busy escorting Tazuna as they head off to Tazuna's house. Now, at Tazuna's house, Naruto and Team 7 mostly just takes their time to rest, because at the time they don't have anything to do and they're just taking some time to rest. And Kakashi, who has overused his Sharingan, also needs to regain his energy, so they're just spending some time in Tazuna's house until Kakashi recovers enough to walk on. He needs some help walking, but he can walk. As that day, Kakashi is like, okay, I'm gonna teach you guys tree walking. It's not like tree walking, but Kakashi sensei, I already know how to do water walking. As Kakashi's just like, well, you don't have to do it then. As he goes out with Sakura and Sasuke and teaches them how to do tree walking, as Naruto just does his own training. Now, this goes on for a little bit until Kakashi is fully recovered, and they just go off to the bridge to help Tazuna build it and, protect him, because I'm pretty sure that's what they're supposed to do. Now, I literally forgot what I was about to say. Sorry. But back to what we were saying, they're just one day helping Tazna build the bridge when suddenly a way too familiar fog ends up coming in. And you guys already know what this is. It is literally going to be the it's gonna be Zabuza. Oh my god, anyways, so Zabuza comes in, and this time it's not only Zabuza, but Zabuza is together with Haku. Surprise, surprise. Who could have guessed that? Not us, who already watched Naruto. Doesn't matter. Basically, Sasuke's immediately like, I'll take the tracking ninja, as he runs in. But Haku is actually really powerful. So, as Sasuke runs in, Haku starts just destroying the Sasuke, which really angers Sasuke. As Naruto's like, looks like you need a bit of help, as he says, Swift Acceleration 1, and runs in at Haku, saying, Swift Lotus, as he kicks Haku into the air. And then he ends up saying, Molten Rock, as he uses Lava Release to send balls of molten rock and lava towards Haku, who ends up having to use his Ice Release Kekkei Genkai to create a huge wall of, ice. And Naruto's like, so that's how he's gonna play, is it? So, how about I use your own trick against you? And, Haku's just wondering what this kid's talking about, and meanwhile, Zabuza and Kakashi start fighting. But I don't really need to cover that because you guys already know how that fight's gonna go. And Naruto starts running in at Haku, as Haku is currently expecting a number of attacks or something like that, but no. Naruto runs in and says, Demonic Ice Crystal Mirrors, or Demonic Ice Mirrors? Demonic Crystal Mirrors? Whatever Haku's attack is called, as Naruto ends up creating a series of ice mirrors completely surrounding Haku. And Naruto's just like, yeah, you weren't expecting this, were you? As Haku's just like, but how? That's my Kekkei Genkai. Nobody else should be able to use this. As Naruto's like, well, that's quite unlucky for you, because I have a bit of a special ability. As Naruto turns on his Sharingan and starts going through the mirrors, throwing kunai and shuriken at Haku through all of the mirrors. Now, Haku is just like, what on earth do I do? There is no way I can break through this. Like, I know the jutsu myself, and there's not much I can do except for outspeeding him and trying to get out by defeating him. And, Haku's just thinking this as Naruto starts to resort to using jutsus. As through the mirrors, he starts using wood style, sending pillars of just woods at Haku. And Haku at this point is just like, dang it, can't do anything. As Naruto's like, okay, well, then I'll just have to use this. As he says, Storm Release, Laser Circus, as Naruto creates several beams and shoots them at Haku. First, a halo of bright energy spreads around Naruto's hand as this technique starts activating. And then the technique literally encircles Naruto's hands, and the beams are shot outwards at Haku. as this literally, like, Haku tries to dodge it, and he tries to just, like, survive, but whatever Haku tries to do, I mean, being stuck in the ice mirrors while being hit by one of the strongest storm-style jutsus, yeah, not really. You don't really have a big chance of survival, as Haku literally gets, like, almost knocked out, as Haku is just completely defeated with nothing else to say, as with, like, the very low amount of energy that he has now says, "Kill me. I no longer serve a purpose for my master." As Naruto says, "Well, so be it," as he takes a kunai and kills Haku. At the meantime, this perfectly aligns with Kakashi stabbing his Chidori into Zabuza. So with that, Haku and Zabuza end up dying. Now, after all of this ends up going down, Gato arrives with his men and, all of his mercenaries. But little does he know, he is messing with the wrong people. As Naruto, seeing Gato and his men, is like, "Who are you?" As he just creates a bunch of those molten rocks, the lava release molten rocks, and just ends up throwing them at the mercenaries, and the mercenaries literally can't do a thing as they start getting destroyed one by one, as Naruto just goes in, completely destroying the mercenaries, and the mercenaries end up, like, running away, running for their life, just scared of Naruto that much. Now, Gato is the only person who ends up staying, and he's like, "You cowards, I'll just defeat them myself." As Naruto, hearing this, just starts laughing and laughing and laughing, as Gato's like, "What are you laughing at? Come here and kill me if you can." As Naruto's like, "Really? Okay." As he just runs in at Gato and says, "Swift release, swift strike," as this is one of the most basic swift release jutsus, as he literally just punches Gato in the gut, and he gets flung out to another dimension. Not literally, but, Gato's gone. Gato's not gonna come back. He's dead. He is literally dead. And with that, the bridge gets named the Great Naruto Bridge, and they end up completing the mission. With that, Team 7 heads back to the village, and they get their rewards for completing the mission, and Kakashi explains to Hiruzen how this was at least a B or A rank mission, and Hiruzen ends up paying them appropriately. Now, as the team leaves the room, Kakashi stays back, as he's like, "Hey, Hiruzen, do you know anything about how Naruto might possibly have, like, a lot of kekkei genkai?" And Hiruzen's like, "What do you mean?" As Kakashi explains everything, from the wood release, to the ice release, to the lava release, to the swift release, to the Sharingan. Like, Kakashi's like, this kid seems to have almost every single, kekkei genkai. I mean, the last thing we need is if he has a Byakugan and Sharingan and somehow manages to combine them. Spoiler alert. But, it basically, Hiruzen's like, "I have no idea what that is." And, Kakashi's just like, "Okay, well, I was just letting you know." As Kakashi heads out to tell the team about the Chunin exams. Unfortunately, this is where I'm going to be having to end off this video. So last time we left this what if off, Kakashi was just going to tell Team 7 about the Chunin exams. Now, after Kakashi tells Team 7 about the Chunin exams, of course, all of them end up agreeing. And to be honest, guys, last time, you remember how Naruto has, like, the Sharingan? yeah, so he's been doing some training, so it's pretty safe to say that I'm gonna bump that up to a 2 Tomoe Sharingan. And since I guess the amount of Tomoe you have on your Sharingan is part of his kekkei genkai, I guess I can say that. And Naruto also has another trick up his sleeve. He's been, studying the Hyuga clan a little bit and realized that they also have a dojutsu, the Byakugan. And Naruto, being the genius he is, realized, oh well, let me just see if I also have that dojutsu. And wouldn't you know it, he does. So Naruto, being, trying to awaken the Byakugan, ends up asking Hinata. And, Hinata, although confused at first, is like, yeah, what do you want to learn about the Byakugan? Naruto's just tell me, teach me if I had a Sorry guys, the recording just keeps cutting out. But back to the story, Naruto's just talking to Hinata, being like, is there any way if I possibly had a Byakugan that I would be able to awaken it? And Hinata's like, okay, I guess, and just starts training Naruto. And by the end of this training, and remember, they have 1 week before the Chunin exam starts, Naruto actually learns how to awaken his Byakugan. Now, Naruto doesn't stop there, because after he heads home, he's like, now for the best part. As he says, Byaku Sharingan, and a white Sharingan appears in his eyes, and Naruto's like, yes, I was able to do it. I combined the Sharingan with the Byakugan, creating a completely new dojutsu, the Byaku Sharingan. This is perfect. As now Naruto has a 2 Tomoe Sharingan Byakugan merged thingy, which is literally so OP. But I'm giving it to him anyways. So, anyways, Naruto is ready for the Chunin exams, and Team 7 walks into the Chunin exams area as they're just walking through. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura all notice the genjutsu as they walk past it. Now, Rock Lee does end up encountering them and challenging Naruto to a fight, but Naruto just says, no, not now. It's not worth wasting our energy. If you're really worthy of fighting me, then survive until the final exams, and then we can fight. And Rock Lee's like, dang it, fine, I will survive. I will prove to you that I am an excellent shinobi. Yeah, Rock Lee does his entire thing that he always does. And, Team 7 heads off. Now, this is the beginning of the first part of the Chunin exams, as, Naruto and, all of Team 7 enters the area. Ibiki arrives, being like, this is the first part of the Chunin exams, and explains how this is going to be a written exam. Now, everyone's just like, dang it, this is my weakest spot. And Naruto doesn't really mind, because, first of all, he's extremely smart, and second of all, he has a Byaku Sharingan, which is, more than enough to cheat. So, when the test starts, Naruto literally just activates his Byaku Sharingan and copies all of the answers he needs, finishing it basically immediately. And after that, Ibiki does end up announcing the 10th question, but Naruto, he just stays. He doesn't care about the fact that there's a 10th question. This was all too easy anyways. So, with that, we continue to move. Oh my god, this recording just keeps cutting out. I don't know what's happening. Anyways, back to the story. Anko just comes flying in through the window, being like, come on guys, over to the Forest of Death. We have the second part of the Chunin exams to do. And Ibiki is just standing there being like, Anko, there's a door for a reason. As Anko's like, you're boring, Ibiki. Has anybody ever told you that? And Ibiki's just like, never mind. And, everybody ends up heading to the Forest of Death, where Anko does her whole thing, being like, yeah, so this is the force of death, you can die, you can kill, blah blah blah, you'll have to sign this form, you get 2 scrolls, well, 1 scroll, and you have to get the other scroll to pass. And Naruto's team, of course, signs the thingies, gets their scroll, and heads off to their gate. Eventually, Anko does say, go, start, and, well, everyone starts. Now, with that, Naruto and Team 7 just can start running in, as Naruto activates his new white Sharingan, which surprises Sasuke a lot, because not only has Naruto awakened the next Tomoe of his Sharingan, but Naruto now has a white Sharingan, which makes Sasuke go like, wait, but how? And Naruto was just ignoring Sasuke as they keep going on, and Naruto feels a strong presence coming towards them, as Orochimaru comes out of the bushes. He's like, Sasuke. Yeah, and he's saying this until he sees Naruto. And he's like, who is this? And Naruto's just like, this guy, he's trouble. As Orochimaru seeing this is like, maybe I should put a curse mark on him too. He seems to have the Sharingan as well. And he's just thinking this as Naruto literally starts throwing a series of attacks in Orochimaru's general direction. As with his Byaku Sharingan, he also ends up activating Swift Acceleration 2, I think it's called. And this is the next stage of that Swift Acceleration thing I talked about earlier. And it's part of his Swift Release kekkei genkai that literally just makes him move 1 billion times faster. Like, it's kinda OP, not gonna lie. But Naruto is supposed to be OP in this what if. So, Naruto using this already is completely outclassing Orochimaru in his current form, literally coming in from every direction. As Orochimaru starts adapting to Naruto's style and is about to throw a counterattack, as Naruto literally summons a bunch of wood pillars, slamming Orochimaru into the ground. As, Naruto keeps pounding Orochimaru into the ground, attack after attack after attack, with his wood style just slamming into Orochimaru. And Orochimaru is just like being flung away as Naruto says, ice style, ice crystal mirrors, as he creates a bunch of mirrors around Orochimaru, who now is trapped within Naruto's ice mirrors. And Naruto goes around Haku style, like literally imagine Haku, but it's Naruto, going around the ice mirrors, throwing kunai from every direction. And Orochimaru is standing there, is like, oh, this is gonna be easy, not that hard. And that is when Sasuke steps in, and Sasuke goes into the ice mirrors with Naruto being like, that's not gonna be good. But then he's like, oh wait, it might actually be helpful, as Naruto keeps using his incredible aim to fire his kunai at Orochimaru, while Sasuke starts fighting Orochimaru inside the ice mirrors. So imagine you're being bombarded by kunai from every side, which is already incredibly difficult, but then you have to fight an Uchiha at the same time. Pretty difficult. Which is why Orochimaru eventually ends up getting hit by a couple of Naruto's kunai, and Naruto gets out of his mirror and flies straight at Orochimaru, punching him in the gut. As, in this one moment where Orochimaru is in perfect range, Naruto's like, yes, time to use my new move, as he says, 8 trigrams, 64 palms, and literally starts using that on Orochimaru, because Naruto copied Hinata doing the 64 palms using his Sharingan, or just he spied on the Hyuga clan and saw how they do the 64 palms move, and since it says a Sharingan, he just copied the move. Plus he's really smart, and he has a Byakugan, so he knows how to do that move. And this is kind of like, this is basically as much as Orochimaru can like withstand, and Naruto's like realizing that Orochimaru's been pushed to his limit is like, time to finish this off. As he uses the storm release jutsu that I literally forgot the name of, as he puts his like hands out as a ring appears around his hands and a huge burst of storm release like just gets shot out from his hands, basically like incinerating Orochimaru. And Orochimaru does end up dying, but as we all know, Orochimaru always comes back. He is literally just immortal. He died like 3 times in 3 times? No, he died less than that, but he died a bunch of times in Naruto and was able to come back every single time. But he does need some time to come back, so he won't be there for the Konoha Crush, which means Konoha Crush won't be happening. But Naruto realizes that Orochimaru actually had the scroll that they needed on him. As, taking the scroll, Naruto is like, wait a second, I incinerated Orochimaru, but why didn't this scroll get incinerated? As he heard my voice talking from above in the cloud saying, plot. As Naruto was like, oh, okay, just lazy writing. Makes sense. As he heads off to the area. I don't know what it's called. That area you go to when you finish the thing. And so with that, Team 7 finishes at nearly record pace, just getting a little bit behind Gaara's team. And they finish with, ease, really. And that is when that guy who always coughs announces the preliminaries. Now, the preliminaries go literally exactly the same, except for the Naruto versus Kiba fight, where Kiba just steps on the ring, being like, oh, finally, I'm gonna be able to prove myself, show that I can become a Hokage, beat Naruto. This is my chance. As he immediately does Fang over Fang, and Naruto just who has his Byaku Sharingan active, Kiba slams straight into Naruto with his Fang over Fang. Literally just goes straight into him. As Kiba's just like, ha, I got him. As then he opens his eyes again, and he notices that Naruto has him pinned down. Realizing that right before he was about to strike Naruto placed him under a genjutsu and then was able to get behind him and pin him down. As Kiba, Naruto was literally just flexing at this point, being like, yeah, see, I didn't break a sweat. I literally just pinned you down with one finger while you were using your strongest move. And Kiba, seeing this, is like, well, there's not much I can do now. Well, I give up. As Naruto's like, okay, well, I win. And that is the end of the preliminary rounds, because, yeah, that's just how it goes. And also, the Rock Lee doesn't get, his entire leg crushed, because Naruto steps in right on time to stop that from happening. But even if that did happen, and Rock Lee never healed, which he will, but, imagining that he never healed, it wouldn't really matter to the plot, because Naruto's just too OP. Anyways, this is when Naruto ends up, going home for his 1-month training break, and decides, you know what, I'll go to the hot springs. It's a good way to relax and chill and everything. And on his way to the hot springs, he sees some man with white hair peeking into the hot springs, and Naruto's like, what are you doing? As Jiraiya's just like, shh, I'm doing my research. And Naruto just punches him in the gut, as he's like not hard, but he punches him. As he's like, what are you doing? Do you know who I am? I am Jiraiya, the legendary Toad Sage. as Naruto's like, well, wait, the Toad Sage? As Naruto's like, oh, I actually know this guy, because Naruto is smart in this version of events, and he's like, oh, I know you. Well, that doesn't excuse what you were doing. As Jiraiya recognizes Naruto and is like, you want me to train you? I heard that the Chunin exams were happening. And Naruto's like, nah, I'm stronger than you anyways. And Jiraiya hearing this is like, you? Stronger than me? And Naruto's like, yeah. As Jiraiya challenges Naruto to a fight, and Naruto accepts. As the instant the fight begins, Naruto activates his Byaku Sharingan, which, if you don't understand how OP this is literally the Byakugan, which is OP in and of itself, combined with the Sharingan, one of the most OP dojutsus, like, in this entire series. It's just, trust me when I say this is incredibly OP. As, Naruto and Jiraiya start having a battle, with Naruto immediately having the upper hand, and Jiraiya seeing this is like, oh, okay, I understand you're strong. Yeah, I accept defeat. As he doesn't want to play his like Sage mode cards. He doesn't want to play any of his trump cards or anything. So he just accepts defeat. Although he is like, Naruto, I do want to teach you a couple things though, even though I lost. Naruto hearing this is like, wait, you know my name? And Jiraiya's just like, I just heard you did really well in the Chunin exam, so I know. Just making that up on the spot. As Naruto's like, huh, okay then. And he's like, okay, so what do you want to teach me? As Jiraiya's like, holds out his hand and forms a Rasengan. Naruto, looking at this Rasengan, is like, okay, sure, teach me. And over this 1 month training period, Naruto masters both the Rasengan and the Toad Summoning Jutsu, because why not? And I guess Jiraiya helps him control Kurama a little bit better, Naruto trains on his own to control Kurama a bit better. But yeah, that happens. And, they just keep on training with, Jiraiya being like, okay, well, Naruto, I feel like you are ready. You have done a lot of stuff, so I am quite impressed. But to test how good you truly are, I feel like we should have a bit of a spar. And Naruto was like, okay. But he doesn't know that this time, Jiraiya is going to use his full power. As right off the bat, Jiraiya activates his imperfect Sage mode, I guess, and he goes in full power at Naruto. As Naruto, not knowing what to do, immediately activates his Byaku Sharingan and activates Swift Acceleration too, mind you, and literally just moves out the way and then uses Swift Strike to hit Jiraiya, which actually lets him land a blow, although, how effective the blow was, it didn't do much against a Sage mode Jiraiya. So Jiraiya came back and now using his own jutsus, using things like his spiky hair jutsu and just attacking Naruto. Although Naruto, was able to dodge most of them, using his Byakugan and Sharingan to go in at Jiraiya and almost uses 64 palms, as Jiraiya sees an opening in him and tries to go in for an attack. And Naruto, seeing this, realizes that he can't do much against this attack, seeing it's too strong, as he says, rotation, and creates this entire barrier around him as Jiraiya gets sent flying back. And Naruto's like, that was a close one. And they both run back in at each other as they keep exchanging blows and keep fighting, with Jiraiya almost starting to gain the upper hand. This is when Naruto says, well, I guess I'll have to go full power too, as he closes his eyes and opens them again as the 3 Tomoe Sharingan, or should I say Byaku Sharingan, appears in his eyes. A white 3 Tomoe Sharingan. And the instant Jiraiya sees this, he's shocked. He has no idea what to say, as Naruto is already comboing him. He's like punching him in the gut, in the face, in the like uppercut, jab, cross, as he just like Jiraiya just doesn't even stand a chance, as Naruto keeps destroying him with move after move after move after move after move, and Jiraiya creates some distance, catching his breath and creating a defense around him, as he's like, well, okay, as he just stares at Naruto, who's standing there, and Jiraiya starts approaching Naruto, being like, fine, it's my turn to attack again, as he attacks at Naruto, leaping at him and punching him straight into the ground, using his strongest attack, using a Rasengan, full power Rasengan, to just slam Naruto into the ground, creating a pretty big crater, as Jiraiya's like, got you, as the Naruto that Jiraiya attacked turns into just a bunch of like, what should I do it? A bunch of what animal? A bunch of toads. As Jiraiya's like, toads? Wait, was this Genjutsu? As he turns around to see Naruto holding a kunai to Jiraiya's neck. He's like, give up. I've won. As Jiraiya's like, well, yeah, it seems you have. I believe you're ready to go on to the final stage of the Chunin exams. As Naruto's like, yeah, I believe I am. I mean, if I'm stronger than one of the legendary Sannin, then I'm pretty sure I'm ready to become a Chunin. You know, like, the Sannin may or may not be like Hokage level, but you know, I'll stick to Chunin for now, because Naruto at this stage is basically Hokage level, but I don't know. Life's unfair, so he's got to deal with just trying to become a Chunin for now. And with that, Naruto heads off the next day, of course, to the final part of the Chunin exams. Okay, so one day, I was just sitting down, relaxing in my living room, and a thought popped into my mind. I was like, okay, where do I want to take this what if? How do I want to end this what if? And I just thought, I want to make Naruto stupidly OP. So, in today's episode, that is what I'm going to be doing. So there's already a bunch of kekkei genkai that I haven't given Naruto. So get ready, because he's just going to get a bunch of new kekkei genkai, and he's going to be OP, like it's not even close. Nobody is going to stand a chance, and if you want to see that, please stick around till the end. Trust me, it'll be worth it. Anyways, last time we left off, Naruto was just heading off to the final stage of the Chunin exams. Now, as I already told you, Naruto, at this point, see, here's the thing. The Mangekyo Sharingan is a type of Sharingan, right? And the Mangekyo Sharingan is a kekkei genkai that you can unlock. And see, here's the thing. Since Naruto has every kekkei genkai unlocked, like, already, that's basically what it is. I'm gonna give Naruto a Mangekyo Sharingan. Yep, a Mangekyo Sharingan. If you ask why, well, first of all, I just said he's gonna be OP, and second of all, plot. And yeah, so Naruto heads off to the final part of the Chunin exams. He goes to the arena and everything, and his first fight is against Neji. Now, you guys might be asking, what is Naruto's Mangekyo Sharingan ability gonna be? Well, First of all, he has an ability that can disrupt chakra. So let's say your opponent is about to create like a jutsu. Well, then if you use the chakra disruption, it like destroys their chakra control, right? It creates a disruption of chakra, right? Like that's pretty self-explanatory, and then they can't perform the jutsu. They have to like redo the hand signs and everything. And his second ability is gonna be a genjutsu. And this genjutsu, basically how it's gonna work is he can make like this genjutsu is almost escapable, like there's no counter for it, just like the Tsukuyomi, and it's pretty OP. They can Naruto can make almost anything seem like anything. So like he can make the person under the genjutsu see anything Naruto wants them to see while they're still in real life, because Itachi's Tsukuyomi works where in 1 millisecond in real world time, a couple years passes in the Tsukuyomi world. But this, the normal world is still happening. It's just Naruto can alter what they see in the real world using the genjutsu, if that makes sense. Sorry for going on that rant. Back to what if. So Naruto goes into the arena as, he walks in, and Neji does his whole speech on destiny, being like, I'm destined to win this battle. I'm part of the Hyuga clan. This match was decided before it even started. Neji does his whole thing. But Naruto really just couldn't care less. So, he just is like, okay, can we just battle? As Neji's like, fine. As he activates his Byakugan and rushes in at Naruto with full speed. And I would love to say that this was a close fight, but it wasn't. Naruto activated his Mangekyo Byaku Sharingan. Like, do you already realize how OP that is? Mangekyo Byaku Sharingan. Let that sit in. Let that name sit in for a second. And Neji rushes in at Naruto as Naruto just uses rotation. Just Uno reverse carding Neji, who's like, rotation? But how? You shouldn't know the Hyuga clan abilities. As Naruto's like, shut up. As he says 8 trigrams, 64 palms. In just really relaxed way. As he literally just continuously destroys Neji with his own kekkei genkai, right? And then he says, he uses his Mangekyo Genjutsu. As in Neji's perspective, Naruto is just standing there. As he's like, you idiot, why are you just standing there? As suddenly, he feels a Rasengan slam into his back and realizes that Naruto standing there was just a genjutsu. He wasn't actually standing there. And see, here's the thing. He feels the Rasengan slamming into his back, but he can't see it, because he can't see Naruto. He's still in the genjutsu. He sees that Naruto is still standing there, but Naruto isn't standing there, which makes this genjutsu be able to make yourself invisible. That is quite OP, because you control what the person under the genjutsu can see. And with that, one OP Rasengan to the back can get Neji out if one uppercut from Canon Naruto was able to get Neji knocked out. So Naruto wins this match. Surprise, surprise. And all the other matches go the exact same. Within Gaara and Sasuke's match, Gaara ends up using his perfect defense. Sasuke decides to use his Chidori and slams through that perfect defense, stabbing Gaara in the shoulder. Now Gaara, of course, once again goes crazy at this and goes into his half-transformed Shikaku state. This is when the Konoha Crush begins. But see, here's the thing. Orochimaru isn't here. which means Hiruzen won't have to deal with Orochimaru and won't end up losing his life. So Hiruzen and his Anbu, instead of fighting Orochimaru, end up going and fighting all of the intruders, which contributes majorly to decreasing the amount of damage that was done to the village, while Naruto and Sasuke go on to chase Gaara. Now Gaara, just as in the usual, gets carried out to the woods. Temari and Kankuro get him out of there, but Naruto is so OP that he literally catches up to them in no time, right? He's right on their trail. Using his Byakugan, he can see them from like a kilometer away. And they were just like, dang it, how's this guy tracking us? As Kankuro takes out his puppet and starts trying to attack Naruto with his puppet, but Naruto activates his Mangekyo Byaku Sharingan and uses his Mangekyo ability to disrupt the chakra the chakra lines that connect the puppet to Kankuro. So Kankuro loses all control over his puppet, as Naruto uses a Rasengan to literally just go through his puppet, destroying it. At the same time, Naruto casts actually, you know what? Naruto doesn't do that. After that, Naruto literally just uses he uses Swift Acceleration 3. That is a new stage he unlocked of that, as with this new incredible speed. Like, imagine Mangekyo Sharingan plus Byakugan plus Swift Acceleration 3. That is like Minato speeds nearly, right? So he just snatches Gaara and just straight up knocks him out in one punch. One punch, man, just kidding. And Gaara, with this, turns into the full Shukaku state. Naruto realizes that knocking him out may not have been a good idea, since now Shukaku has completely taken over. But at the same time, Naruto's like, yeah, this isn't going to be too much of a problem. As he summons Gamabunta, and he's like, hey, Gamabunta, just get me close to Gaara, I can handle the rest. As Gamabunta's like, sure thing. And Shukaku keeps sending his wind bullets and stuff at Gamabunta, but Gamabunta keeps dodging. And, this just keeps going until he's like, okay, this is good. As Naruto leaps off of Gamabunta and does a signature headbutt, going straight into Gaara and waking him up. Also, sorry if you guys were hearing some buzzing in the background. I have 37 notifications from Discord. Back to the way. I got 37 notifications during this one recording. Wow. Anyways, back to the what if. That's the end of the Konoha Crush. Naruto deals with Gaara. Hiruzen doesn't die because Orochimaru's dead. Remember, Naruto literally just disintegrated Orochimaru. So he'll be back, but not yet. And that's all. Yeah, that's how the Konoha Crush ends. And with that, Naruto and actually Jiraiya as well are tasked to find a new Hokage, because Hiruzen decides that he is getting a little old for this job, and after fighting all of the invaders, he realized that, maybe the village is in need of a new Hokage. So, Jiraiya and Naruto go off to find Tsunade. So, the next day, Jiraiya and Naruto just meet up at the gate and head off. Now, they just have no plan, as they just go around, looking for any hints, any clues, any signs, anything really. And eventually, there is this one person who tells them that, Tsunade was around that city, that one area, and just points in the direction, naming the city that I don't remember the name of. And Jiraiya and Naruto are like, yeah, thanks for that information, that'll be useful. As Naruto activates his Mangekyo Byaku Sharingan. Why does that have such a long name? You know what? I'm gonna call that the Mangekyo Byaku. The MBS, right? And you know what? No, I'm gonna do an EMBS because Naruto has an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. You know what? No, I can't. Do I? I do it. Yes. Naruto has an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan because... You know why? First of all, that counts as a kekkei genkai. Second of all, plot. You know, that's a common theme in this what if so far, just plot. Yeah, deal with it. Anyways, so Naruto has an EMBS, I think it's called now. EMBS. That's all I'm gonna call it. Eternal Mangekyo Byaku Sharingan. That's what it stands for. It's just too long of a word. And he uses his EMBS to just scan the area, looking for any signs of Tsunade and looking for the city that they were talking about. And it doesn't take them long to find the city. And they look around for a while, finding mostly nothing. And after that, they decide to, eat and rest at a bar for a little bit, just to get some rest. And at the bar, there's this one particular woman who seems to be very drunk and keeps creating a lot of noise. Now, Naruto heads over to that area to just complain and be like, yo, can you quiet down? Like, you're creating so much noise. And looking at Tsunade, Naruto realizes, wait, is that Tsunade? And Jiraiya comes over and is like, wait, Tsunade? And Jiraiya tells Tsunade about everything, how, they want her to come back to the village, become Hokage, do that sort of stuff. And Tsunade, hearing this, is like, Hokage? Me? And she's just like, nah, I'm not fit for that job. You gotta find someone else. No, that village, I'm done with that village. As, she goes on her whole rant, like, disrespecting all of the Hokage. And hearing this, Naruto's like, no, I am not having this. He's like, stop disrespecting the Hokage. Those Hokage are amazing people and have risked their lives for this village. And they start having an argument as Tsunade's like, fine, you know what? Kid, I have no idea who you are, but let's take this outside. If you beat me, then I'll go back to the village and become Hokage. But if I beat you, which is obviously the outcome that's gonna happen, there's no way you're beating me, then I stay and you leave me alone. And Naruto just smirks and he's like, sure. Easiest deal of my life. So, sorry guys, I had to go and do something, but I'm back. Anyways, so they would go outside, and, Tsunade would get into a position, and so would Naruto. And Naruto's like, okay, do we begin? And Tsunade says, yeah. As Naruto says, Naruto activates his EMBS, Eternal Mangekyo Byaku Sharingan. Literally the most OP name for a dojutsu I've ever created. And the instant he does this, Tsunade's like, wait, what was that? And Naruto's like, you have no idea. As Naruto literally disappears from Tsunade's vision, because he actually casts Tsunade under the genjutsu, and from Tsunade's point of view, Naruto literally just disintegrated into a bunch of tiny glitter particles. And while she can't see anything, Naruto starts destroying her with insane taijutsu, and Tsunade has no idea what to do. So she decides, just for now, since she can't see Naruto for some reason, to activate her 100 healings jutsu, and this way, there's no way Naruto can do any damage, because the 100 healings can literally just restore anything. So, Naruto notices that, using his Eternal Mangekyo Byaku Sharingan, he notices that, there's a huge like concentration of chakra going up to her forehead to the small like diamond shaped mark. And looking at this, Naruto's like, I don't know what you're trying to do, but I'm not gonna let you do it. As he uses his second Eternal Mangekyo Byaku Sharingan ability, as he disrupts all of the chakra going into Tsunade's forehead, and Tsunade fails to activate the 100 healing seal. And she's like, what happened? As Naruto activates a full power Rasengan, imbuing all of his chakra into it, and finally releasing the Genjutsu, as Tsunade gets one moment to see before Naruto slams the Rasengan straight into her, maybe not knocking her out, but getting her to the point where she has to admit defeat. So with that, Tsunade ends up losing and has to go back to the village. And they do not, in fact, encounter Orochimaru because, well, guess what? Naruto already dealt with him. And if Orochimaru came back by now, I mean, he doesn't have enough time to search for Tsunade. Neither does he need to, because his arms weren't sealed away. And with that, Tsunade comes back to the village and becomes the Hokage. Now this is where we're going to be having a 3-year time skip. So, heading into this time skip, you guys thought Naruto was OP, right? You have no idea. So Naruto goes into this time skip, right? And first things first, he learns Rasen Shuriken. Naruto is a prodigy among prodigies, right? In this what if. And so it doesn't take him too long to master the Rasen Shuriken, which is already incredibly OP. But it doesn't stop there. Remember, how he's a super prodigy, and in canon, he was able to master the Sage Mode in 1 week. Naruto is way faster at learning things now, and also he has 3 years, so Naruto also ends up learning Sage Mode. Then after that, he goes and talks to Kurama, and Kurama and Naruto get a pretty decent bond, not like KCM 2 level bond, but Naruto under certain circumstances can access KCM 1, but only if he's on the brink of death. That's the sort of way. But Naruto can access Kurama's chakra up to a Two Tails cloak or more, pretty easily. And if you thought that was all, Naruto unlocked his Rinnegan. Because Jiraiya and Naruto, not being complete idiots, if Naruto has the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and the Byakugan, then why shouldn't he have the Rinnegan? So after some immense training and a lot of time, maybe an entire year of the training, or let's say 2 years because we have so much time in this training period, Naruto unlocks his Rinnegan and, learns how to use the paths of the Rinnegan. And with that, Naruto can use the Kurama influence, Sage Mode, Rinne Eternal Mangekyo Byaku Sharingan. Do you guys understand how OP that is? That is every dojutsu in Naruto combined into one dojutsu. This is stronger than the Rinne Sharingan. The Rinne Sharingan is a kekkei genkai, right? You know what? Let's say he has the Rinne Sharingan. First of all, because that's also a kekkei genkai. But second of all, he didn't have to unlock it just like the Rinnegan, because when his Rinnegan unlocked with his Sharingan, let's just say it merged to become a Rinne Sharingan. I know that's not what happened with Sasuke or Madara, but I do not care either. Because Naruto actually already has the Rinne Sharingan Kekkei Genkai. He just has to unlock it. And I feel like this kind of meets the requirements for that. So yeah, Naruto now has a Sage Mode, Kurama Influence, Rinne, Eternal Mangekyo, Byaku Sharingan, and a bunch of other jutsus. And he heads back to the village. Now, on his way back to the village, he just comes back and gets informed that Jiraiya, who has been spying on the Akatsuki, right, reports to Tsunade that the Akatsuki might be planning an attack. And Jiraiya just says that they might be attacking the Leaf Village, and it's probably gonna happen sometime soon. Now, Jiraiya was in fact correct, and a couple of days later, the entire Akatsuki ended up coming to attack the Leaf Village. Now, does this matter to Naruto? No, not gonna be a challenge. And it's gonna be so easy for him that he destroys literally everyone and just keeps, literally destroys all the paths of pain and all of the Akatsuki until there's just Obito remaining. And Obito starts phasing through Naruto's attacks, right? And you guys might have been saying, oh, but Naruto's Mangekyo Sharingan ability is too weak. Oh, it is so OP. Because when Obito started phasing through Naruto's attacks, all Naruto had to do was disrupt the chakra in Obito's eyes, and Obito couldn't phase through his attacks anymore. After that, it was completely just game over. Until Obito, who was about to die, used his Rinnegan to revive Madara. And I know I usually don't take this path with my what-ifs, but Naruto is so OP, he could beat Ishiki at this point. And so Madara gets revived, and Madara just goes, starts running in at the village, being like, oh, dang it, where's the Ten-Tails? Thought it was supposed to be summoned. And Obito, who's on the ground about to die, is like, it's just, he just takes a little bit of Naruto's Kurama chakra, and says, take this chakra and put it into the Gedo statue. We have all the other tailed beasts already. As Madara, takes his advice and completes everything required to create the Ten-Tails, summoning it, and then, Naruto just sits there and waits, literally allowing him to merge with the Ten-Tails because he's that confident in his ability. And Madara's like, wow, so powerful. As, he awakens both, just turns on both of his Rinnegan, and he's just like, kid, I don't know why you let me do this, but you're kind of stupid. As Naruto's like, yeah, just fight me already. As Ten-Tails Madara runs straight in at Naruto. But Naruto does have a Kurama Influence Sage Mode Rinne Eternal Mangekyo Byaku Sharingan. I'm literally not gonna say that name ever again. So Naruto is literally on par with Madara at this current stage. Ten-Tails Madara and Naruto are even in terms of strength. And this keeps going on and on and on until Naruto finally lands a critical blow. Using, he uses Swift Acceleration 3 and then used a Rasen Shuriken. Oh god, if you fuse this Swift Chakra into a Rasen Shuriken, that might be insane. So, he gets this crazy point blank range blow on Madara, thinking that it would easily kill him. But little does he know, he underestimated Madara, as Madara comes out of the smoke and just stabs, literally just hits Naruto really hard with his truth-seeking orbs, and Naruto, from what he can tell, dies. After this, Naruto just is like, wakes up next to Kurama. Kurama's like, kid, you realize you're basically dead if I wasn't here, right? Naruto's like, yeah. And Kurama's like, listen, if you let me out of this cage, I can help you. And help you survive and make you stronger. And Naruto's like, why didn't you just say that earlier? As he opens the cage, and Kurama's like, wait, it was that easy? And yeah, he's like, yeah, of course, I trust you, man. And, they do the whole fist bump thing. And after that, Naruto, who was currently in real time falling to the floor, seemingly dead, suddenly a huge orange aura just bursts off of him. As Madara's like, what? But how? As Naruto has now entered KCM 2, paired with his, I don't even want to say what his eyes are called. As Naruto's like, well, you're dead now. But right as he says that, Madara gets stabbed in the back by Black Zetsu, summoning Kaguya. And Naruto's like, I don't care who you are still so dead. As Kaguya's like, do you know who I am? And as she's saying that, Naruto just runs in and decapitates her. And Kaguya, who barely heals from this injury, is like, wait, what? But how? And Naruto blitzes at Kaguya again, literally getting punch after punch after punch after punch after punch. And Kaguya turns around, trying to throw one of her DK Ashbone thingies, but Naruto easily dodges it, like it's not even close, and just says, listen, Kaguya, I feel like, you were a decently worthy opponent, but I'm just a bit too strong for you, as Naruto concentrates all of his chakra, musters out all of his chakra, as he puts it and concentrates into one ball of pure chakra in his hand and starts muttering, swift release, wood release, lava release, and starts saying every type of release, literally every release, every sort of possible combination release, kekkei genkai release, all the 5 normal releases, and suddenly the ball starts glowing this rainbowish color, and Naruto just manages to barely compress it into his palm, creating one huge glowing orb. As Naruto's like, finally, the perfect move. As Naruto just takes this orb as it levitates on his fingertip, and Naruto points his fingertip at Kaguya and says, die. As the orb at the tip of his fingertip blasts off at Kaguya like a bullet, and it goes at such insane speeds. It's faster than the speed of light. And Kaguya can't even react or switch dimensions or create a portal or do anything, as the instant this orb connects, it literally destroys Kaguya down to its every last atom, creating an explosion that destroyed everything in a 5-mile radius. And if you guys are wondering, wait, did the Leaf Village just get destroyed? Well, no, because they were not inside the Leaf Village. They were for plot reasons, right around 5 miles away from the Leaf Village, just so that Naruto could pull off this one attack and not destroy the Leaf Village. And with that, both Kaguya and Black Zetsu, who was hiding in her sleeve, I guess, that's where he hides, right, got just literally completely disintegrated. And just to stress the power of this attack that Naruto invented, if he created a big enough version of it, this attack could like, you know, if he mastered it in the future, you know, after he becomes Hokage and everything, this attack could literally incinerate the entire move. Like, Toneri could cut the moon in half, but Naruto could literally destroy the moon down to its last atom. But with that, Naruto becomes the hero's village, saving the day, and I must say, that is going to be where I'm going to be having to end off this video. But before I end it off, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate all of your support, and I did just unlock community posts, so I'll be doing some polls there for my future what ifs and everything. So if you want to see that, please check it out. And yeah, goodbye. See you next time.